straps. After them is down, even if the back is not in place. Put your mask on before helping others.
Yeah, so McLovin did really good flying. We flew into Denver and stayed the night in Denver. She was just seemed kind of shocked about her new surroundings. Girl, McLovin. McLovin, you ready to see your first set of storms in the Midwest? Should be there in a couple hours. Yeah, we were targeting a storm in the Texas Panhandle near Amarillo. And it's McLovin's first time in Oklahoma. Just across the border. And this was just some rainstorms on the way. I think as we were crossing Oklahoma into Texas. Watch out for rattlesnakes. Yeah, McLovin's mad at me, so she's burrowing her face in her pillow because she has to wear. Oh, poor McLovin has to wear a harness so you don't get killed by a rattlesnake. Look at that out there. Yeah, I like to verbally abuse and demean my dog. It helps me feel better about myself. Yeah, so I was initially targeting storm around Amarillo, just north of Amarillo. And then a storm popped up and went severe warned, like just a little bit south of us, maybe half an hour south of us. So we drove toward the storm. And it pretty quickly died down, as you'll see. So yeah, this storm started to die down. It was a pretty storm though, and then this is the new storm as I headed up back to Amarillo as that storm started to intensify. And you could see at the base that it was really intensifying. Radar showed that it was rotating as well. And lots of reports of funnel clouds. Later on I learned there was actually a reported tornado. I think I might have accidentally captured it without realizing it later on in the video as it gets darker. But it's really pretty structure on this one. You can see obviously there's a lot going on in that lowering, a lot of rotation. Anyway, really pretty storm. It was pretty crazy as we got close to it. I kept having to move because like the outflow kept feeding in to other storms, and other storms kept popping up and like right over me or like behind us. So
oh my gosh, look at that! That's the funnel.
But yeah, I wasn't. I mean, obviously, like a tornado would be, ideal experience when I storm chased, but I honestly wasn't expecting it. Unfortunately, like I'm actually still on my trip right now as I'm narrating this. But unfortunately, there's just not enough like upper level winds mainly. Cape values are not the best either. They could be better. Sometimes really high Cape values can make up for the lack of a low level jet, but that wasn't really the case. But isolated tornadoes can still happen. But really beautiful structure. It was so cool to watch the storm just blow up. Pictures and videos don't do justice to that. But yeah, this is so cool to watch, just right above our heads. McLovin handled it really well for the most part. I think as long as she's around with me, she's okay. So, and then this is really pretty. This double rainbow. The double rainbow. Remember when that was a popular YouTube video?
Cool storm, huh?
But yeah, McLovin did pretty well. So at this point, I'm trying to drive to get into good position just south of the rotation. So I'm driving kind of southeast of the storm, and then I start coming up north at this point. And this is where it gets pretty crazy. Right here, I'm coming up north onto the rotation. I actually passed a bunch of storm chasers, which made me question whether I should keep going, but I ended up in a really good position for this. You can really see the rotation. The video here really doesn't do justice of how close we were, but if it dropped a tornado, it would have been just the perfect position for some amazing video. But it's also probably good it didn't drop right here, although you can see the rotation and the funnel coming up. It's it's like a suburban area right here, lots of homes, lots of people outside their homes are watching. Cool. Right there you can really see the funnel and the rotation. And then then I try to get into a better position. It just couldn't really stay very organized. Ideally, it starts feeding into itself and becomes tornadic, right? So, but it kept creating other storms. The outflow just kept going into other storms, and other storms were popping up. But I continued to try to follow the main circulation. And actually, it's right around here coming up that there was a tornado reported the next day. And I'll point out where that was, where I think that might have been coming up. So I continued to track the base of the storm and until it got dark, and just seemed like kind of rain wrapped. It seemed like the rotation was weakening, and at that point I didn't really anticipate that it would revamp. This is on my way out. There was actually a tornado reported the next day in the same area. I think that was probably the tornado, although I can't be certain. I was kind of far away, but it was reported around that spot. It also could have been up here. There was a shape that popped up that kind of looks tornadic. It's so hard to tell at night when you're chasing what the shapes could actually be, but it's hard for me to tell what else that could be. So it could have been that too. That's also around the area.
That's crazy storm activity, huh? How do you like chasing storms?
Not so much. There's a tornado warning. Just where I was at, I just left the Dairy Queen thinking the storm died down, but that's pretty severe rotation. So I'm driving back just to see. So yeah, now I just recorded a bunch of lightning strikes as I went back toward the storm, where the rotation was as it went tornado warned. But before it went tornado warned, I had gone to Dairy Queen. As that rotation was approaching me, it kept getting closer. I was getting frustrated because I was stuck in that drive-through, and I got my food and dropped south of it. And then just as a couple miles dropping south, it goes tornado warned. So I'm like, oh shit! And I, ran back north, and it was really just right below just south of the lowering for these clips. Yeah, and then it was a long night after that. I got a hotel in Panhandle, Texas, and went over there, and she wouldn't let McLovin in. It was like 11 at night. I drove through like crazy rain conditions, and I was just tired, and I had to book another hotel in Amarillo, and didn't get there till like midnight. I was really just annoyed and exhausted, and then Orbitz, wouldn't refund my money at first. I was like, what the yeah, it was frustrating. But yeah, it was before that, it was a really fun storm to chase.